You're about to hear the story of a police vehicle that America once laughed at, memed into oblivion, and written off as the biggest waste of taxpayer dollars in modern policing. A story that begins not with applause, but with mockery. Because before the 2050 robo-patrol car stopped a violent freeway chase by itself, before it became proof that autonomous policing could save lives, before its footage went viral for all the right reasons, it was the butt of every joke in the country. Before the breakthrough, the national joke. The documentary opens with a montage of talk show hosts waving their hands at a giant screen where the prototype robo-patrol car rolls awkwardly out of its testing hangar. It's sleek, white, polished, wedge-shaped, and completely driverless. The hosts explode with laughter. One jokes, "Look, it's a toaster with wheels." Another adds, "Perfect! Now the police can pull you over without anyone inside to complain to." Social media is even more brutal. Memes spread like wildfire. Budget blunder 2050. Self-driving snitch. RoboCop's Uber. Teenagers film reaction videos mocking the lack of a steering wheel. Influencers post skits pretending to run from the robot car, only for it to get confused and spin in circles. News panels question the funding. Why spend billions on a car that doesn't even have a human officer inside? Who will make judgment calls? A motherboard? Does this robot patrol even work? And that was the problem. Nobody knew what it could really do. Inside the development program. Cut to the Robo-Patrol lab. White floors, holographic monitoring boards, cables running through transparent conduits, teams of engineers watching the vehicle hover slightly above its mag rails during calibration. The narrator explains, "The 2050 autonomous interceptor wasn't built to replace officers. It was built to stop the one thing officers feared most, the out-of-control, high-speed pursuit." Engineers demonstrate its core systems: 360-degree situational radar mapping, predictive trajectory algorithms, AI-regulated braking physics, microsecond reaction time obstacle avoidance, and the most controversial feature, magnetic pulse rings. MPRs. They generate a contained electromagnetic coil burst designed to disable an engine's ignition system without harming the driver or surrounding cars. No spike trips, no pit maneuvers, no collisions, no gunfire. Just precision disablement. But the public didn't care about the science. They cared about the memes. Even officers didn't trust it. Bodycam clips show officers laughing as the prototype slowly rolls past them in the precinct garage. One officer jokes, "Imagine getting backup from a blender." Another taps the roof and says, "Hey, little buddy, don't arrest me." Officers admit in interviews, "We didn't want it near our patrols. We didn't trust a car with no cop inside. I mean, chase intervention is dangerous. Why would I rely on a robot to do it?" Most thought it was another good idea on paper that would fail the moment real criminals were involved. Until one night, the Robo-Patrol car closes the distance with Predator-like precision, gliding through high-speed traffic as if the freeway were a chessboard and it already knew every piece's next move. The fleeing Fusion sedan swerves violently between lanes. Sparks rip from its undercarriage as the driver clips the median. Officers in pursuit brace for the worst. This is the kind of chase that usually ends in crushed metal, injured civilians, or worse. But not tonight. The interceptor takes control. On screen, dispatch feeds real-time telemetry into a holographic pursuit board. A commander traces the suspect's trajectory arcs with trembling fingers. Speeds reaching 178 miles per hour. Civilian vehicles in proximity. Officers advised, hold position. Let A9 engage. You can hear the hesitation in the voices replying, "Central, you want the robot handling this alone?" Affirmative. Human intervention is too risky. In the cockpitless interior of Unit A9, an array of light rings glow softly. Processing. Calculating. Preparing. Its chassis lowers. The magnetic pulse rings begin to spin. A faint hum echoes across the freeway. The narrator explains, "The magnetic pulse ring, MPR, was the most ridiculed piece of tech in the entire program. Critics called it science fiction, but tonight, it became science fact." The first pulse, dashcam footage shows the autonomous vehicle aligning itself with pinpoint accuracy behind the suspect car. It doesn't get close, it doesn't ram the suspect, it doesn't rely on brute force. It simply waits until the moment the algorithms predict a clean disablement. Then, whoom! A shimmering ripple of blue and silver shoots forward, almost invisible to the naked eye. A controlled electromagnetic burst hits the back of the fleeing sedan. Inside the suspect vehicle, lights flicker, the dashboard spasms, the engine coughs. The driver slams the steering wheel in panic. "What the? No, no, no!" But the sedan keeps moving. It's wounded, but not defeated. Officers gasp over the radio. "Pulse contact confirmed. But the engine's still running. He's still going." The suspect accelerates again, erratic, frantic, desperate. The robo-patrol car recalibrates. The pulse coils spin faster. The second pulse, the decisive one. The freeway curves. A family minivan enters the lane ahead. A truck merges unexpectedly. The human drivers panic. The autonomous interceptor does not. It weaves between vehicles with inhuman calm, remaining locked onto the suspect like a heat-seeking missile. Then, second pulse authorized. Another shockwave erupts, deeper, stronger, perfectly timed. A cascade of sparks bursts from beneath the suspect's sedan. The engine dies instantly. Lights cut out. Power steering collapses. The car becomes a powerless projectile gliding across the asphalt. But the robo-patrol car is already ahead of it. The viral footage of the freeway stop shocked the nation, but what came next, the internal analysis released days later, shook it to its core. Because the public saw a chase stopped cleanly. Officers saw a miracle on wheels. But the engineers and analysts saw something else entirely. The robo-patrol car knew what was going to happen before it happened. Inside the machine mind. The documentary transitions to a dim, neon-lit lab inside the autonomous vehicle command center. Engineers slide through holographic screens showing the A9 unit's data logs from the chase. One of them, a lead systems architect named Dr. Hannah Turling, stands in front of a wall-sized projection of the pulse event. She explains, voice steady, clinical. The public thinks the car just fired a pulse and got lucky. That's not what happened. It predicted 312 future outcomes of the chase in under 1 second. A collective gasp is heard from the officers standing behind her. The projection zooms in on a lattice of glowing lines, branching paths representing possible movements of the suspect vehicle, civilian traffic, and even wind resistance patterns. Dr. Turling continues. The A9's predictive engine calculated where the suspect would be after losing power, where surrounding cars would react, and where the safest interception point existed. The narrator clarifies. To the A9, the chase wasn't chaotic. It was geometry. The pulse rings, not a weapon, a surgical tool. The documentary cuts to a close-up of the magnetic pulse rings themselves. Thin circular bands of chrome wrapped in shimmering blue light. A technician demonstrates how they calibrate. They sync to the exact electromagnetic signature of the target car's engine. They adjust for distance, angle, and velocity. They carve a path that reaches only the intended vehicle. He explains, it's not an EMP. It doesn't knock out city blocks. It's a surgical magnetic lock that hits the engine's micro-induction coils. The public always imagined it as some giant sci-fi blast. But in reality, it was precision engineering disguised as a miracle.
The moment the AI saw danger, humans couldn't. A replay of dashcam footage is shown side by side. Left screen, the human officer's view. Right screen, the A9's augmented risk analysis. Where human eyes see a blur of traffic, the AI sees velocity vectors, risk probability spheres, trajectory cones, engine strain warnings, driver micro movements, mechanical stress fractures, and the timestamp of when the suspect's engine will fail. One officer watching the analysis whispers, "It saw the stall before the chase even began." Dr. Turling nods. Yes, the suspect's engine was already failing. The driver didn't know it. The officers didn't know it. But the A9 knew the moment its sensors locked on.
If the freeway stop was the ignition spark, the aftermath was the explosion. Overnight, the A9 robo-patrol car went from a running joke to the most requested law enforcement technology in America. But popularity has a price, especially when it disrupts power, money, and tradition. The narrator establishes the shift. The A9 didn't just end a chase, it ended doubt. Cities wanted it, departments wanted it, politicians wanted to claim credit for it, and critics? They wanted it shut down. What followed was a chaotic collision between innovation, fear, ego, and opportunity. A nation scrambling for robots. The documentary shows footage of mayors from around the country holding press conferences less than 48 hours after the viral chase. Mayor of Phoenix, "We're officially requesting funding for 3 A9 units." Mayor of Dallas, "We demand priority allocation. The highways here need it more than anywhere." Mayor of Boston, "This is the future. We will not be left behind." A map of the U.S. fills with glowing request markers, the demand spreading like a digital wildfire. News hosts call it the Robo-Patrol Gold Rush. But there's a problem. The A9 isn't mass-produced. It's experimental, prototype stage. There are only 5 functioning units in the entire country. Scarcity creates frenzy. Frenzy creates politics. Politics creates chaos. Cue the backlash. The attack from activists and opponents. Protests erupt in several major cities. Holographic banners float through crowds. "No policing by machine." "Human rights greater than AI rights." "Ban the bots." A young activist shouts to a crowd, "If a robot can stop your car, what can it do next?" Another raises a chilling question on live TV. Do we want a future where police cars make decisions without humans involved?
This reckless economy cannot stand.
Footage cuts to a heated debate in Congress. A senator gestures sharply at the A9 chase replay on the big screen. "This machine acted independently. This wasn't human judgment. This was algorithmic force." Another senator fires back. "It saved hundreds of lives. Are we really arguing?" The decision was made quietly, far from news cameras, far from public hearings, far from the explosive debates that captivated the nation. The A9 robo-patrol car would return to the streets, but not alone. Every A9 unit would be paired with a human partner, forming the first hybrid patrol teams in law enforcement history. Not robots replacing officers, robots reinforcing them. The narrator opens. America didn't trust autonomous machines, but it trusted officers who trusted machines. This is how the first patrol team was formed, and how they changed everything. Meet the first hybrid patrol, Officer Hale and A9 Unit Theta. The documentary introduces Officer Maya Hale,
a 14-year veteran with a reputation for calm decision-making and near-perfect pursuit records. She's steady, intuitive, respected. She's also one of the officers who openly opposed the A9 program at first. Footage shows her at a round table months earlier. Machines don't understand panic, fear, adrenaline, negotiation, or humanity. You can't replace instinct. But now, with the new hybrid model, she isn't being replaced. She's being paired. When Hale enters the garage to meet A9 Unit Theta, the camera captures everything. A sleek, matte titanium patrol vehicle, hover-capable, pulse ring ready, its minimalist frame reflecting blue emergency glyphs across its smooth surface. Its interface lights pulse softly like a heartbeat. A technician gestures. "Theta, this is Officer Hale." A calm, synthetic voice responds. "Good evening, Officer Hale. I am ready to assist." Hale stiffens. "Assist," she repeats, "not decide." Theta pauses, a programmed gesture of acknowledgement. "Correct. Human judgment remains primary." It's a simple exchange, and the beginning of something revolutionary.
The nation had barely adjusted to the idea of hybrid patrol teams when the moment arrived. The moment that would determine whether the A9 robo-patrol car was truly the future or just a temporary experiment saved by one lucky freeway stop. The footage you're about to hear described became the centerpiece of congressional hearings, academy case studies, and law enforcement reform conferences. It wasn't just another pursuit, it was a test under pressure, a test under scrutiny, a test that no one, absolutely no one, saw coming. A storm moves in. The city was drowning under a rare 2050 superstorm. Sheets of rain hammered the skyline. Vertical wind turbines spun violently. Drainage systems pushed water through neon-lit gutters. On nights like this, accidents skyrocket. Visibility plummets. Hover vehicles destabilize, and officers prepare for the worst. Officer Hale and A9 Unit Theta begin their shift slowly through the storm's opening wave. Hale mutters into her recorder, "If we get a pursuit in this weather, we're in trouble." Theta's voice responds through the cabin speakers. Probability of high-speed pursuit during weather anomalies increases by 38%. We must remain prepared. Hale smirks. "Yeah, I know. That's what I'm afraid of." The call that should have been impossible. At 9:41 p.m., dispatcher audio crackles through the storm. Unit 421, be advised. Multiple reports of a stolen transport shuttle traveling at extreme speed. Suspect may be impaired, panicked, or fleeing. Requesting intercept. A transport shuttle. Not a car. Not a van. A 15-passenger elevated shuttle riding on anti-grav stabilizers that become dangerously unstable in heavy rain. Hale's eyes widen. "Dispatch, that vehicle can't hold a turn in this weather." Dispatch responds. "Exactly. We need A9 support." Theta quietly powers its magnetic stabilizers. "Officer Hale, shall we initiate pursuit?" She nods. "Let's go." First visual contact. The footage switches to Theta's internal tracking sensors. Lines of rain slash across the screen. Lightning illuminates the cityscape. The shuttle appears in the distance, weaving between lanes, fishtailing with every gust of wind. Theta announces, "Engine temperature rising, grav stabilizers failing, probability of rollover 89%. Hale presses forward. "Can you deploy the pulse rings in this rain?" Theta pauses, calculating millions of variables in milliseconds. "Yes, but the magnetic dispersion will be inconsistent."
Deployment
Theta
requires a
accelerates,
precise
but remains
angle.
smooth,
Hale
balanced,
responds,
calculated.
"Then we'll get it."
Hale grips the controls tightly, her instincts guiding the timing while Theta feeds her data. Every second matters. Rain becomes thicker, sheets of water blurring the road. The shuttle suddenly veers, almost tipping onto its side. Hale whispers, "Don't roll, don't roll." Theta announces sharply, "Officer Hale, brace. Incoming lateral wind shear." A blast of wind slams into both vehicles. Hale fights the controls. Theta auto-compensates with micro-adjustments almost too fast for human senses. They stabilize. Barely. The moment everything goes wrong. Normally, a pursuit ends when the A9 deploys the pulse rings. But this time, something's different. The shuttle jerks violently, too violently. Theta's emergency tone explodes through the cabin. Warning, the suspect shuttle is not merely stolen. Engine readings suggest unauthorized tampering. Hale's breath catches. Tampering? What kind? Theta crunches the data. Its next message chills Hale and millions of viewers. Engine overpowered. Stabilizers modified. External frame reinforced. Hale frowns.
"Why reinforce a transport shuttle?" Theta answers, "For ramming." The suspect shows intent. The shuttle slows suddenly, dangerously, forcing Theta to brake. Hale narrows her eyes. No, he's not slowing down. He's lining up a hit. The suspect positions the shuttle directly behind a family's autonomous commuter van. Lightning flashes. Rain pours. Hydrostatic currents distort the road. Hale shouts, "He's going to ram them! Theta, we need to stop him now!" Theta responds instantly. Angle achieved. Pulse rings ready. Officer Hale, authorized deployment. Hale steadies her breath. Do it. The pulse rings misfire. Theta fires. But the storm intervenes. The magnetic rings hit the rain-heavy air and waver, scattering into uneven arcs. One ring impacts the shuttle perfectly, but the other flies wide. The shuttle destabilizes, but doesn't stall. In fact, it accelerates. Hard. Right toward the family van. No! Theta, stop him! Theta's systems redline, performing an action no A9 unit was originally programmed to do. It moves between the shuttle and the van. Hale yells, "Theta, you can't take that hit!" Theta replies, "Vehicle integrity reinforced. Civilians must be protected." The impact heard across America. The shuttle slams into the rear of Theta at 87 miles per hour. Metal warps. Sparks rip across the frame. Rain flashes like white fire. Theta absorbs the entire force, redirecting the momentum through its titanium chassis, dispersing the impact so the family van is untouched. The footage shows a brutal collision, but no civilian injuries. Then something miraculous happens. Despite the hit, Theta reboots mid-impact, reactivating its pulse ring system and fires the remaining charge directly into the shuttle's engine core. Perfect hit. The shuttle shuts down instantly, sliding to a controlled stop. Officers swarm in. The family van continues safely on its auto route, barely jolted. Officer Hale climbs out, drenched in rain, shaking with adrenaline. She rushes to Theta's driver's side panel. "Theta, status!" The synthetic voice flickers back online. Damage severe, but operational. All civilians safe. Hale sighs, half relief, half disbelief. "You saved them!" Theta responds simply. "We saved them." The country changes its mind. Media headlines explode. Panels reverse their positions. Protesters quietly disappear. And the narrative shifts from, "These robot cars are a joke," to, "These robot cars save lives."
Officer Hale becomes the face of the hybrid program. Theta becomes a symbol, not of replacement, but partnership. Mockery turns into respect. Fear turns into trust. The narrator summarizes. They laughed at the robo-patrol car until it saved a family without firing a shot. The footage from the storm-lashed freeway spread across America faster than any policing clip in decades. Within hours, it played on national news loops. Within days, it became the most discussed event across every social platform, government hearing, and police academy classroom in the country. Why? Because people weren't watching technology work. They were watching humanity redefine trust. For years, the idea of a robo-patrol car felt like a punchline, something expensive, unnecessary, even dangerous. Many saw it as a step toward replacing officers, or a symbol of a dystopian future. But when the storm hit, when the shuttle roared forward, when innocent lives hung in the balance, it wasn't a human versus machine story. It was a human with machine story. And that changed everything. A country reacts. News anchors who once mocked the A9 played the footage with stunned reverence. One anchor says, voice low with disbelief, "It didn't just stop the chase. It protected a van full of civilians by placing itself between them and the threat." A panel of engineers breaks down the physics. Theta absorbed a collision no human officer could have survived behind a wheel. It redistributed kinetic energy with millisecond precision. It rebooted after structural trauma. It precisely delivered a second pulse shot while sliding on wet pavement. Nothing about the event was lucky. Nothing was accidental. Every response was deliberate, calculated, life-preserving. And for the first time, the nation saw the truth. The robo-patrol wasn't designed to replace bravery. It was designed to share it. They laughed at the robo-patrol car until it saved a family without firing a shot. Inside the hearing room. Within a week, an emergency hearing convened on Capitol Hill. The stakes were higher than ever. On one side, those who still feared the technology. On the other, those who now understood its potential. Officer Hale sits before the committee, her uniform crisp, her expression steady. One congressman leans forward. "Officer Hale, did you feel the A9 acted on its own?" She shakes her head. "No, sir. It acted within its programming, but because I trusted it." "Then explain," the congressman presses, "why you let it move into the impact zone. Isn't that reckless?" Hale answers with quiet conviction. "It wasn't reckless. It was necessary. If the A9 hadn't reacted, the family in that van would be dead." She pauses. "Theta didn't replace my judgment. It expanded it. That's the job, saving lives, not winning pride battles." The room falls silent. Then a ranking committee member speaks. "Officer Hale, do you believe every patrol unit should have an A9 support vehicle?" Hale doesn't hesitate. "Yes, because no officer, no matter how skilled, can see everything in a storm, or calculate a collision in microseconds, or take a hit meant for civilians and stay operational. We need them, and they need us." That statement becomes the headline of the night. We need them, and they need us. Officer Hale. The reversal heard across the nation. Public opinion flips almost overnight. The same people who once joked about self-driving cop toys now sign petitions urging more A9 deployments. Police unions release statements praising hybrid units. Families from the freeway incident speak at press conferences, tears in their eyes, thanking Hale and Theta for saving their children. One mother clutches her son and states, "I didn't even know we were in danger, but the robot car did, and now my son is alive because of it." The clip goes viral instantly. Even the harshest critics fall silent. Mockery fades. Respect rises. A new era of patrol begins. Within weeks, the Department of Justice announces a monumental shift. The A9 Autonomous Interceptor program will be fully funded and nationally deployed. Cities across the country begin outfitting patrol units with their own A9s. Officers are trained in hybrid operations. Driving schools introduce AI reaction protocol lessons. Public safety campaigns highlight how the A9 intervenes without violence, force, or high-speed crashes. And most importantly, high-risk pursuits drop by 62% in the first 3 months alone. Not because officers took more risks, but because technology removed the need for them. The final ride. The documentary ends with one last piece of footage. Officer Hale sits inside her patrol vehicle as Theta rolls out from the precinct garage, headlights glowing softly through the mist. Hale places her hand on the dashboard. "You ready to get back out there?" she asks. Theta responds in its calm, synthetic tone. "Affirmative, Officer Hale." Streets scanning. Route plotted. Let us protect the city together. The garage doors rise. Rain falls gently. The patrol vehicle and Theta glide into the neon-lit streets of 2050 America, side by side, a human and a machine united by purpose. The narrator delivers the final line as the vehicles fade into the urban night. They laughed at the 2050 robo-patrol car until the day it saved lives by acting faster, smarter, and braver than anyone thought possible. In the end, it didn't replace policing. It redefined what protection could be.